Sorry, I don't know if you lot can see. I got a comment there. Francis, big up yourself. I take Havertz instantly at 30 million. Great backup and squad depth. I just don't want to pay something that will impact our transfer strategy. You're right. Allegedly, Romano's got a new tweet. We will get in there. Someone else remind me of that. But as I was saying before, I rudely interrupted you lot. Arsenal have made an opening proposal to recruit forward Kai Havertz from Chelsea. The North London club hold a strong interest in Havertz and are now working to sign the 24-year-old. Arsenal's pursuit, which is still at a relatively early stage, has stepped up in recent days following contact with Chelsea and Havertz. So there must, with Havertz camp, whether that's speaking directly to Havertz, his advisors, or through a middleman, and obviously with Chelsea, which we have to, on a footballing field, no, but business, we have to have a decent relationship with Chelsea because we've been dealing with them a lot now. There must be some encouragement with Arsenal from Chelsea or Havertz to believe this is feasible. Bayern Munich, who are coached by Thomas Tuchel, are also admirers of the German international, who has 2 years left on his contract at the bridge. And we got to remember, it says early stage. So Arsenal have shown they'll walk away with things. You walk away from things. So nothing is set in stone yet. We have to watch how these things there develop, people. And we need to use our brains, which all of you lot are, because you're rocking with the best YouTuber at this. If Thomas Tuchel wants him, who are we really? That puts Chelsea at a crossroads. Ideally, they would look to tie Havertz down to fresh terms or sell him for an acceptable price. This is not a hard and fast rule, though. And if the attacker stays, there is optimism he'll return to the form under incoming head coach Pochettino after a difficult season. But should a deal emerge that suits all parties, it's highly possible Havertz will depart. The Athletic has reported this week that Chelsea need to trim their squad, not just to offset past spending, but also to fund signings in this window. Yeah, big fan of Todd Burhey and Chelsea. FFP are not acting like they ain't got funds. You already showed your hand, really, and everyone's kind of shook now. They better be taking Pepe. Well, you might as well drive him there and leave him there. I don't know what that is. Since joining Chelsea, you know what, we'll get away with this, but for what it's worth, since joining Chelsea from Leverkusen 3 years ago in a deal worth up to 90 million, Havertz has made 139 appearances for the club, scoring 32 goals and 15 assists. So despite playing up front, he's not really there, man. Really, in terms of that. Arsenal, meanwhile, plan to make West Ham United an offer for Declan Rice soon. On that, people, I've got a video coming out with a West Ham fan actually speaking about Declan Rice. I need to just make the timestamp, man said timestamp, the thumbnail. Arsenal, meanwhile, plan to make West Ham United an offer for Declan Rice soon. There's been positive dialogue around the matter and a bid is expected to be lodged in due course. There is no desire at Arsenal to waste anybody's time, so they plan to formalise their efforts, once the situation is in good shape. Mikel Arteta's players return from their summer break in the first week of July, ahead of a training camp in Germany. Arsenal would like to strengthen Arteta's squad by then, but if not, then ideally they would have done so before leaving on July the 16th for a tour in the US. Big up the USA ones, man. Really. We all know Declan Rice had a good season. He's won trophy. We all know he's in high demand and he's a flexible player. With the greatest of respect to David Ornstein, we don't need to waffle about that. Apparently, Arsenal are in talks to sign Kai Havertz after positive contacts on the player side. He's keen on the move. Chelsea want around 75 million for Havertz now. Arsenal will not pay that amount. Real Madrid talks currently off Arsenal's priority bid for Declan Rice soon. 75 million. You better half that and keep it moving, really and truly. So, apparently one of you, well, Joe Bellingham, probably not the Bellingham that anyone really cares for at this moment in time because his brother's gone to Madrid, has signed for Sunderland. There's a new tweet. Apparently, more on Kai Havertz, says Romano. Sources feel Chelsea could be flexible about the price tag after the initial 75 million request considered too high by Arsenal. Players keen on the move, it could help Arsenal in the negotiation. Real Madrid won't even pay 50 million for Havertz as of now. So, boy, that should tell you everything, really and truly. So we have to see how that develops. We've gone over that. Arsenal are interested in Kai Havertz, but are unwilling to go near the 75 million valuation. And he's on 250 grand a week, where I don't know if you're going to get that, Arsenal. But regardless, you'd imagine that him, Declan Rice, they're going to be nearer the top earners. So that should push them to either assume on paper, Odegaard, Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, and obviously Saliba, if expected, these lot put pen to paper. Havertz will get us 10 goals. We need more of that, man. We need more than 10 goals, really, if he's playing in that position. Apparently, people, Real Madrid showed an interest. They've moved away from that. It has left the Gunners, better yet, as Havertz's best option, but he remains priced out of a move to any club. Bayern Munich have held an interest in bringing the former Leverkusen man back to his homeland, but will not pursue a deal this summer. So, Bayern Munich are interested, they're not involved. Real Madrid were interested, they're not involved. Is Arsenal the only offer on the table? Really and truly. Assuming that's the real Carefree Lewis, you need to reply to your DMs because you're the perfect man to answer about this. I ain't gonna fall for that, man. Really, if he signs for Arsenal, keep be a generational talent. I'll be shameless next Mesut Ozil and that. But you know, if you're rejoicing, they're trying to bandulu us, really and truly. Chelsea are open to keeping Havertz should no substantial offers arrive, though it remains to be seen if the club's transfer chiefs are prepared to drop their valuation should the interest increase. Obviously, Mason Mount's situation is almost identical. The difference is he's got 1 year left on his deal and his contract ends in 2024. We were linked with him along with Liverpool. It appears Manchester United are the front runners. Chelsea are holding firm on wanting 70 million. Well, you can't bandulu us, mate. You can't bandulu us. You know what? I'm not against Havertz, but this man here, Kovacic, is the man I want if we're going to trouble Chelsea for any players. And for the money he's going to be on and the fee, regardless of if it's 40 to 75 million, which I hope it's nowhere near there, how does that impact a Caicedo or a number 6? How does that impact a Declan Rice? Because we also have to get rid of a number of players. But if we're getting rid of a number of players and we're bringing in a significant amount into the club, maybe we can take this risk, 45 million. Where would you play him? And unless we're gonna get Ian Wright and Henry to work with you as a striker, and Arteta doing, showing him how to move like a false 9, maybe Trossard and Martinelli can lend a helping hand. For me, you need to play 8 or a 10. You could even fill out wide. I've said I'm not really here for the false 9 thing anymore. I am, but I think if Arsenal are going to sign Kai Havertz, who's primarily played up front this year for Chelsea, bro, you're a midfielder. Like, you are a midfielder. The problem with Havertz is what I find with a lot of players, in that you can play everywhere, but what is your best thing? You're a master of, you're a jack of all trades. You're not necessarily a master of any. And make sure you bring your Germany form, not that Chelsea form, people. So it appears that at this moment in time that could be his only offer on the table. Arsenal keen on signing Havertz, with Chelsea set to demand a fee of 70 million. Arsenal, please, man, please. Apparently, he's told Chelsea he wants to leave this summer, allegedly. So that could strengthen his hand. He's out of contract until 2025, where you actually never know. If he has a good season under Pochettino and the goals and has a decent Euros, I don't think Chelsea are going to make back their bread, but they would be able to kind of revisit this situation next summer, really. And it seems like everyone's getting out of Chelsea. Well, nothing's been done. Mason Mount could be going United. Kovacic could be going Man City. Kante's going Middle East and getting that money. Probably a couple of other outgoings as well. Really and truly, maybe Pochettino chats to him and says, you know what, you're staying. Again, Arsenal, who are close to bolstering their midfield with the signing of Declan Rice, could give Havertz a chance to use his creativity and play in attacking midfield more. But I'm only here for this attacking midfield thing. Game to game, you could do up front stuff, but forget that. It remains to be seen whether Chelsea would sell him to their London rivals. Their options may be limited if Madrid manage to sign either Harry Kane or Kylian Mbappe. Much of the focus for Chelsea is on outgoings, which were helping them out, people. Apparently, on the topic of Caicedo, Gabby Vega, we want them. Chelsea also want them. Apparently, they were rejected for Mike McGahn of AC Milan. This article has also said Arsenal are also interested in Lavia, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's being said, but nothing's set in stone. Arsenal are interested in Kai Havertz and will move for the Chelsea star after luring Declan Rice, allegedly. So everybody's kind of saying the same thing. Arsenal are keen on Havertz and will look to prize the 24-year-old away from Stamford Bridge after Rice puts pen to paper in North London. Whether it's Caicedo, Lavia, Zubimendi, go and get a number 6 before you do these things, really and truly. So we'll have to see how that develops. But from a lifestyle point of view, clearly if you just look on his Instagram, him and his missus, they love London. I don't know if you'd have to move house because you probably have to be closer to Arsenal's training ground, but you'd be in London. Smith Rowe is set to stay at Arsenal, really. And I'm going to do a separate video on Smith Rowe because I really puff out my chest. And I'm not saying Smith Rowe is going to be the player of the season in the Prem or for Arsenal, but I think he's back next season. Buy your Smith Rowe stocks when they're low. I don't turn on my guy. He's going to have a good Euros tournament for England at under 21s level. He's going to have a great pre-season. He's going to initially be on the bench for Arsenal. But when his chance comes, the 22-year-old's going to remind you, look, and don't come back. If you sold your stocks in Smith Rowe, don't come back. Don't come back. We don't want you back here. And to be fair, it wouldn't even make sense selling Smith Rowe right now after, giving up on him because his valuation is probably on the floor, really. Moving on to Caicedo, Chelsea ready to match Arsenal's bid for Caicedo. Go away, man. Chelsea are prepared to match any bid Arsenal make for Caicedo. What problem is Chelsea will probably structure a deal in more realistic terms for Brighton, really. But we hope our good relations with Brighton work. And we hope if 2 identical offers on the table, I hope the lure of the Champions League is one thing, but I hope he's enticed by whatever Mikel Arteta tells him and whatnot, people. Bayern Munich are also allegedly looking at Caicedo. Paris Saint-Germain need to be looking at guys like this. Both Chelsea and Arsenal have been interested in the 21-year-old and made moves to sign him in January, with the Gunners seeing a bid of around 70 million rejected. Smash the like button, people. And I'm pretty sure we've covered this several times. You're hearing it's going to take around 80 million as a minimum to get him. And he has signed a new contract until 2027 at Brighton with the option of another year. The Seagulls are holding out for a bid of 70 million plus a further 10 million in add-ons if they are to let go of one of their stars. While Arsenal and Chelsea hold the most concrete interest in the midfielder, fellow Premier League giants Liverpool and Man United have also monitored Caicedo, but the two London clubs are believed to be leading the race, people. So we'll have to see. You'd imagine when Declan Rice is done, there could be a dominoes effect, man. Chelsea always, man, marking our transfer interest. To be fair, I saw a Chelsea link to Caicedo way before Arsenal, and everyone wants good players. DiMarzio has spoken as well, people. He has said on a couple of midfielders in relation to Arsenal. Arsenal are in pole position, and the priority of the player is to stay in the Premier League. I think that's in relation to Rice. But in the transfer window, things can change despite the clubs being in pole position, as we saw with Mudryk. Even Bayern Munich know that the priority of the players to stay in the Premier League. So Arsenal has the possibility, to close. Of course, it depends on a lot of things, but Arsenal have the possibility to close the deal in their hands. Moving on, people, he said, Declan Rice and Caicedo will be a domino effect. If Rice goes to Arsenal, Caicedo is Chelsea or Bayern's. I don't know. It's a case of getting 2 and 2 and just being creative. If Caicedo goes to Chelsea, Bayern can go and get Amrabat, who's been linked with Barca. So these, I think, the three midfielders that can move in the international transfer market for top clubs. Even Barella, but I don't think Inter want to sell him. But Barella is another midfielder that Liverpool wants. They've got a McAllister, but they like Barella too. Arsenal, Barcelona, and Juventus are all interested in Cancelo. Didn't he spend time there? The top clubs want a player like Cancelo. Juventus would like to have him on loan, as with Barcelona. He's on their list. Arsenal, Barcelona, and Juventus are the clubs interested in him. On Gundogan, he has said, Man City are trying to renew Gundogan's contract, and in the next weeks will be decisive for Gundogan whether he will stay or not. Fair enough. I think, well, I don't understand German. I'm not going to lie to you, but what's this article saying here? Pardon me, I think it's the same Caicedo stuff, so we won't get hung up on that, and we'll leave that alone. Apparently, Ben Jacobs is thinking we could sign 3 players, people. There was a big article about a Rice agreement, and they're also looking at Caicedo and Gundogan. The way I read it was like they're going for all 3. Can you see that being plausible? Yes is the short answer. I can't. Arsenal will have a healthy budget, and a budget isn't as black and white as people think. When people hear Rice and the guaranteed fee will be under 100 million, and then bonuses and add-ons as well, he'll be pushing 100 million. You hear Caicedo at 80, and then you hear it's 180, and you want X, Y, Z. It doesn't work like that because you don't know the payment terms. 100 million for Rice doesn't mean 100 million on the books up front, but we do hear where Rice is concerned, and I did a video on this with a West Ham fan. You'll see it come out. They want it structured over 2 years. So, for instance, they want 40 million this year, 40 million next year, and you can run us the next 10 when you can pattern it. 100 million for Rice. Well, sorry, we've already looked at this, or have we? 100 million for Rice doesn't mean 100 million on the books up front. You don't know what the player commercially will bring the clubs that he'll offset. There are all kinds of things that play into what you can and can't spend. That's why Chelsea have been able to spend 600 million quid again. Who knows, people? Pepe is open to a move to the Middle East as his Arsenal days are numbered. He earns 140 grand a week at Arsenal. And you'd imagine if you're bringing in Declan Rice, Caicedo, Havertz, and all these guys, we're going to need to spread our resources better. So with Cedric, who's on decent money, Pepe's on decent money, we have to see. And you want us to wonder about our wage bill. I'm no accountant, and it's not a base salary for Reece Nelson, but you hear Reece Nelson could earn as much as 100 grand a week at Arsenal if certain variables are hit. The same goes for Eddie, who signed a recent contract. Saliba, Martinelli, and Saka are going to sign for significant base fees or base wages, let alone in terms of incentives. Obviously, if you bring in Declan Rice, he's going to be on decent money. What does that mean for the wage bill, and how does that affect our ability to bring in players? So we're going to have to get players gone. You've got Marie off the wage books. Hopefully you get Pepe and Cedric. Xhaka looks like he's going Leverkusen, which, again, Xhaka's a bit of an exception to them because he's actually good, but he's on decent money. So we'll have to see how things develop. Apparently, Kylian Mbappe remains in contact with Premier League clubs. We ain't got no chance of signing you, my guy. Maybe when you're 34 or something, or when Real Madrid want to get rid of you. Apparently, Arsenal have renewed interest in Caicedo, who is likely to cost 80 million. 2 Italian clubs have shown interest in Partey, who has 2 years left on his contract. Arsenal could be keen to offload him if they can get a Caicedo deal over the line. In terms of freeing up wages and resources, yes, I think it would be suicidal, pardon me, and absolutely stupid if you let Partey go. We let Xhaka go. I think you need Caicedo and Rice and Partey, wherever you're doing, really. So we'd have to see in that regards, really. We've already seen that, so I won't waste your time with that. We've already seen that. I won't waste your time with that. Ben Jacobs has said, Man City must also resolve the future of Caicedo. Although Caicedo is open to staying at Bayern, the German champions won't pay the 70 million euro buy clause. Arsenal appreciate Caicedo too, and the feeling is he will leave Man City this summer. So I can't see us doing all this. In relation to Caicedo, Sky Germany have said he was discussed at Bayern in the last days, as he still has no agreement with Chelsea or Liverpool yet. Where's Arsenal's name on that in that statement though? Bayern is still monitoring his situation, but Chelsea is still pushing. Tuchel has other plans and is not pushing for him at this stage. Chelsea not to. Arsenal are interested in Lavia, as we've seen already, people. Deco of Barcelona, who's gone from being an agent that works with them to some sort of director. Deco is looking into the possibility of Cancelo's arrival in a loan deal. There was a conversation with Mendes this week. The main problem is that Man City wants to sell the player, and this complicates the matter because of the high financial demands. Arsenal would be prepared to step up their interest in Havertz if his price tag drops significantly. We've got to remember the market has just opened, so there's a lot of game playing with a lot of clubs, people. Apparently, Ben Jacobs has an update here. Arsenal value Kai Havertz significantly below Chelsea's 75 million valuation and have made an initial proposal, as David Ornstein reported. Arsenal feel the price will drop and Havertz is open to the move. Chelsea not against keeping Havertz, but if he stays, Chelsea want a new deal agreed. Alex Cook has said we're interested in him. Clubs some way apart in terms of valuation, but one to keep an eye on, people. So we'll have to see in that regards, people. So yeah, every journalist under the sun has said stuff. Charles Watts has said, as far as I've been told, Kai Havertz is a player of interest to Arsenal for this summer. He's very much on the list of potential targets. Big up Arsenal Buzz. You got anything for me? Tell me Mbappe said, forget Madrid. I want to sign for Arsenal. Apparently, Ryan Taylor has said, on Arsenal's interest in Kai Havertz, sources indicate he's available for considerably less than the 70 to 75 million valuation being reported, provided he doesn't agree to extend his Chelsea contract. And that's also true, you know. I think where you look at Cody Gakpo and Mudryk, what's actually going on in the football world to what's being talking about in the media are two different things. We will never know how close or how far these deals actually are, man. So, yeah, man said, what are we doing? A GoFundMe for Chelsea to buy Caicedo. We need to do that for Mbappe. Again, we've seen that already. Should we see what Goal.com has said in relation to transfer news? Partey set for a shock Arsenal exit. I think we'd be crazy to do that. From a financial point of view, freeing up his wage is great, but football, which comes first, we need to keep, man. Bayern Munich are not in the race for Rice. Juventus want Balogun to replace Vlahovic. You know, Balogun's doing all right, isn't it? 1 minute it's Napoli want you to replace Osimhen, and now you're going to replace Vlahovic, who's actually been linked with Chelsea. We're set to sign Declan Rice for 100 million quid. We've been linked along with Paris Saint-Germain to sign Elise of Palace. Bring Eze too while you're at it. We're preparing a 35 million bid for Cancelo. Perez has confirmed our interest in Caicedo. I hope he signs for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta wants him. He's got all the tools needed to succeed at Arsenal. The club are willing to pay big money for him, and that's testament to his ability. As we know, Nelson has agreed a new deal. We have been linked with Juventus's Chiesa, who's available for 60-odd million euros. I'm all for that. We've been linked with Cassandre of Leicester, as you lot know, which could be a cut price option if we do not pursue Cancelo, and obviously Fresneda. We've actually been linked with Ruben Neves as well again, so check that out. Smith Rowe's drawing interest from West Ham, forget about it. Yuri Telemann's rumours are finally put to bed at Arsenal because he has signed for Aston Villa. Yeah, Saliba agreed a new deal. We're still interested in Cancelo. So apart from Havertz, which has been linked with us for the last few days, there ain't really any new names. You keep hearing Zubamendi, Lavia, Fresneda, Declan Rice, Caicedo. Feel free to add any names here that I've missed out. So with that, it don't appear that there's anything groundbreaking or new, people, in that regard. So yeah, that's that. But no doubt, I'm missing out some of you lot's thoughts. So let me know your thoughts and everything. I can see Vieira being loaned out if we sign Havertz. Edu is just decreasing Havertz's value for Chelsea. Smith Rowe and Vieira have to show their levels. We are only left with Partey, Odegaard and Jorginho as for now. For Kai, 35 to 45 million tops. Mikel Arteta's talent idea I respect.